So going into the tanning process, what is it? You know, obviously when we go on a sunbed or when we tan outdoors, we need sunlight, but we also need melanin in the skin. Sunlight actually converts the melanin to turn it brown. So the tanning process, you know, when you go in the sun, you have UVA and UVB in sunlight. The UVB actually stimulates melanin production in the core of the skin, and it brings the melanin to the skin surface, where the UVA actually converts it or activates it and turns it brown. But it's actually a 2-day process. I've got here, how does it work and how long does it take? It's a 2-day process, and that's why with first-time tanners, we always say to allow at least 48 hours in between their tanning sessions. For tanners that tan regularly, you can reduce that to 24 hours, but we always say for first-time tanners at least 48 hours. That's so that they can actually see how they have tanned and whether they've overexposed. Obviously, with 0.3 regulation and legislation, they shouldn't be overexposing. You should be putting everybody on the beds for the correct number of minutes for their skin type. But if it's the first time that they've tanned and they don't know how they're going to react to the sunbed or the sunbed tubes, it's always better to put them on for lower minutes so that you can build their tan gradually, but also so that you can see how their skin reacts to that sunbed. Does that make sense to you all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, any questions on that?
No.
No? Okay, so UVB is also known as the burning ray, and that's the one that brings the melanin to the skin surface. UVA is the one that we know as the aging ray, so that's the one that gives us our fine lines, wrinkles, age spots, that sort of thing. But that's the one that activates the melanin to turn us brown, okay? So melanin, depending on the amount of melanin that you have in your skin, depends on how well you tan, but it also depicts your skin type. So who can tell me how many skin types there are?
6.
6? Who said that? Was that you, Gillian?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly that. So 6. Can you tell me what they are, roughly, briefly?
I should know because I've done the UV.
Medium, dark, sensitive.
Okay, yeah, I mean most salons actually break it down into a four sort of skin type category, but there are actually 6. But if you want to go with the sensitive, light, dark, light, medium, dark, then that's absolutely fine, as long as you know which area that customer falls into. But you should also ask them, don't just go by appearances, don't judge their skin type on how they look. Actually ask them, you know, how do you tan when you tan outdoors? Do you burn easily? You know, do you tan well? How quickly do you get a tan? That sort of thing, because you can't always tell just by looking at somebody. We always used to go by, you know, the color of someone's eyes, or the you know, the color of their eyebrows and things like that, because that depicts, you know, their skin type. But you can't do that these days, because a lot of people have, you know, obviously they wear colored contacts in their eyes, or they might change the color of their hair, their eyebrows, that sort of thing. So always ask them how they tan, rather than just judging them by how they look. Okay, so fair skin types will obviously take a lot longer to tan. They have to build their tan gradually, and they're at more risk of burning if you overexpose them. And someone with darker skin actually produces more melanin naturally. So that means that, you know, they're still at risk of burning if they overexpose, but they are more likely to be able to tan better a lot quicker. So but regardless of skin type or regardless of colour, everybody should use a lotion before and after tanning. Okay, any questions on that one? Nope. Cool. So why do we need a lotion? Why is it important that customers actually use a lotion and prepare their skin before they go on the sunbed? Anybody? Somebody?
Yeah. Hydrate your skin.
Yeah, Abigail, yeah. So it hydrates your skin. Why is that important?
Makes you tan better.
It makes you tan better, yeah. But why?
Keeps your tan longer.
Keeps you tan longer, yeah. Who said that? That was you, Gillian, was it? No.
Gemma.
No.
Yeah. So it keeps your skin hydrated, helps you tan better, keeps you tan for longer. Yeah, because dry skin actually reflects light. So if we're keeping the skin hydrated and well nourished and healthy by putting a lotion on, we're actually going to absorb the UV rays. Whereas if you've got dry skin, you'll actually reflect the UV light. So all that's happening is you're getting a base tan, a surface tan, which is going to sort of dry out very, very quickly. It's not going to last as long. So it's better if you actually use a lotion, you'll tan through the layers rather than just getting that surface tan, because that is going to fade. So obviously when you go on the sunbed or when you tan outdoors in natural sunlight, the UV rays are actually damaging the skin. They're drying the skin out. And when you dry the skin, that's going to encourage it to flake and to peel, but your tan will fade much quicker. So that's why it's important to use a lotion not only before you go on sunbed, but also in between your tanning sessions as well. So I don't know how many of you are aware, but you can actually use your normal lotion in between your tanning sessions. You can use them as an everyday moisturizer as well. The exceptions to that would be something with a heavy DHA bronzer, because that tends to build up and then it will go scaly on the skin, give you that sort of snake skin effect. So I don't recommend heavy delayed bronzers or tingles, obviously. You wouldn't use a tingle. If you're using a tingle on the sunbed to enhance your tan, you wouldn't use that as an everyday moisturizer. But we do have our tan extenders. So, you know, these are our Hemp Nation tan extenders. We recommend that you use these in between tanning sessions if your customer's not going to use their lotion. And the reason is that these are different to what you buy on the high street. So the moisturizers, your everyday moisturizers that you buy, say from the supermarket or from the pharmacy, they contain ingredients that actually dry the skin out rather than keep it hydrated. And also they can include some protection factor, which will actually put a barrier on the skin. So if the customer is using a moisturizer with an SPF on their skin, say they put it on in the morning after they've had a shower, and then they come into the tanning bed that morning or in the afternoon, are they going to tan as well as they would if they were using a specific tanning lotion? The answer is no, because it's got an SPF in it as well. The SPF is actually going to put a barrier between skin and the UV rays, so they're not going to be tanning as well as they should be because they've got a sun protection factor on. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's another thing to look out for when you've got customers coming into the salon. Always ask them, what lotion they're using, and always ask to see what lotion they're using if they say they have their own. And the reason is because you want to make sure that the lotion they're using is actually designed to be used on a sunbed. You'll be surprised how many people I have seen coming into a tanning salon and using their sun cream that they use on holiday, their sun protection factor, to go on a sunbed. So, you know, that obviously defeats the object. When you lay outside in the sun, most people, when they go on holiday, they'll lay outside for up to 8 hours on the beach. They need to be protected so that they're not overexposing. But when you go on the sunbed, it's a controlled environment. You are putting the customer on the bed for the correct number of minutes, dependent on their skin type. So if they're then using a sun protection factor, they're not going to be getting the results, the desired results that they're paying for or that they're wanting. There are exceptions. When would you use an SPF if you go on a sunbed?
Be on your face.
Some people do use it on their face, yeah, if they don't want their face to tan. And also if you've got any scar tissue, tattoos, scar tissue,
what about hyperpigmentation? Because I use it. So we've got a couple of customers that come into our salon, and they have, like, obviously the pigmentation in it. The sunbed enhances it. So I use the Factor 50, the baby sun cream, and I've told them to just put a tiny bit on that spot just so it doesn't enhance it even more. And I have to use it on here because I get it as well. So is that okay to do? Am I okay to advise that?
Yeah, I mean, we have our own sun protection factors, obviously, and there is one that I would recommend for things like hyperpigmentation, and that is our SPF 50, the face lotion, but it's a mineral based lotion. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah.
So it's the Botanical 50. It's designed specifically for the face. It is a mineral SPF. There's no there's no added anything. They're vegan. They're not testing on animals. They act like a BB cream, so they're actually tinted, so you can use them as something's happened to my screen. I've got Windows popped up and I don't know why. You can use it as like a tinted moisturizer, but it has the SPF 50 in. But there's they're absolutely fantastic. I mean, this one you can. I don't know if you can see. This is the Rich to Deep. So we have different shades for different skins. This one is extremely dark. I don't know if you can see.
That's really good, isn't it?
Quite dark. Yeah.
So this one is a rich. So if I just pop it on, I don't know if you can see that. But it's just like a BB cream. It feels just like a tinted moisturizer. It's quite rich. It's very hydrating, but it gives a lovely coverage. So it's really, really good if you've got scar tissue or areas that, you know, that obviously we don't want to tan, or that won't tan because of scarring. But yeah, these are absolutely fantastic. The mineral based, drop the lid on the floor, the mineral based sun protection factors, but we do the face ones in there. So
is it okay for oily skin? Is it all skin types?
Yeah, it's all skin types. All skin types. It's self-adjusting to your own skin, so it's fantastic. Really, really good.
And is that good to use for people that's got psoriasis and stuff like that as well then?
Well, I suffer from eczema. I don't have psoriasis, but I do suffer from eczema, and I use it, and it's absolutely fine. Because they are hypoallergenic. they're very rich in antioxidants as well, so it really helps with combating fine lines and wrinkles and that sort of thing, because it puts all of the goodness and the vitamins and the nutrients into the skin. So but that's you know, that's a lotion to look out for. You can use it obviously every day as a, like I say, as like a tinted moisturizer. So as part of your daily makeup routine, if you wanted, you could use that rather than using a foundation. And because it's a BB cream, it actually helps to fill in any imperfections. There are reasons why some people would use a sun protection factor when going on a sunbed, but it's not the norm, okay? So I would always check to make sure if a customer is coming in, ask them, you know, why they're tanning, but also check the lotion that they're using. You are within your rights to do that, and there's, you know, a couple of reasons why. One is to make sure that they are using the correct products on the bed, because if you've got a lay down acrylic, the chances are that if they're using a product that is damaging to that acrylic, you wouldn't want them to use that product on the bed. So, you know, that's another reason. And also, if you've got a customer who brings their own product in and they're using a tingle, then you need to know that they're using a tingle before they go on that lay down bed. Why is that important?
You need to clean the bed twice.
Yeah, using a tingle, you need to make sure that you double clean the acrylic. And also any, I mean, obviously with COVID, we're all practicing additional hygiene practices now anyway, with double cleaning, sanitizing handles and things like that on the beds, and door handles and anywhere that can be touched. But obviously before COVID, it, you know, if someone was using a tingle, tingles can transfer. So if they've got it on the skin and they're touching another person, so say they're holding a baby or they're picking up a, you know, a pet, or if they're touching surfaces, that tingle will transfer. So the next person that touches that surface is likely to actually pick up that tingle inadvertently and will actually feel the results of it, which they might not like. If they don't like a tingle, they're not going to be very impressed. So it's always important to find out what people are using on the beds. Healthy skin. I've already said healthy skin tans better. So that's all down to the ingredients that we put into the lotions actually helps to make sure that our skin is in the healthiest condition possible to receive UV light. So we put in all the goodness, all the nutrients, all the vitamins that the skin actually loses when it's exposed to UV. It dries it out, it causes damage to the skin by drying it out, and we lose moisture. So we're trying to combat what we lose by applying a lotion. And by putting all the nutrients into the skin, it feeds the skin, it repairs the skin, it helps with skin cell rejuvenation. We only use the top quality, the highest quality of ingredients to put the skin in its best condition possible to receive UV light. So it's important to explain that to the customers. It's not your bog standard everyday moisturizer that, you know, you can buy in the supermarkets. These are professional indoor lotions designed specifically by tanners for tanners to get them the best results in the shortest time possible and to help them keep those results for longer. By doing so, that also enables them to reduce the number of sessions that they need when they go on the sunbed and the number of minutes, which in itself is giving them better results but better skin care. Because, you know, we do not want people overexposing. We don't advocate people burning. Far from it. We are all about safe tanning, and that is what we are here to promote, is safe tanning. So anybody who goes on the sunbed gets put on for the correct number of minutes dependent on their skin type. They are advised which lotions they should be using dependent on what they're actually trying to achieve. And by that, you know, we are advocating safe tanning. So that's what we're all about. When your customers come in, the easiest way for you to actually sell them something is to build a relationship with them. How do you build a relationship with your customer? What's the easiest way to build a relationship with your customer?
Get to know the person.
Yeah, who said that?
Lindsay.
Lindsay? Yeah, get to know the person. So you do that by talking to them. Yeah, make them feel comfortable, get to know them, learn their name, you know, learn a little bit about them if you can. Make them feel important. Every time they come in the salon, you should always greet them with a smile, you know, make them feel important. If you're behind the counter on the phone talking to someone and the customer comes in, make sure that you have eye contact, acknowledge them, you know, and say to them, you know, I'll be with you in a minute. Don't let them stand there and think, you know, okay, have they seen me? Have they not seen me? Do they know I'm here? Do they, you know, what should I be doing? Especially if it's a new customer that might not have been in the salon before. They might not know what they're supposed to do or where they're supposed to go. So make sure that you make them feel comfortable, because, you know, that's all about building a relationship with your customer. It's about customer service. So asking questions, find out, you know, what the customer wants, you know, why are they tanning? What's their reason for tanning? What could the reasons be why they're using the sunbeds?
Because we can't go on holiday.
Yeah, yeah. We're not going on holiday at
Could be sad, you know, people get sad, they think, you know, sad syndrome, isn't it? It just builds and makes them feel better.
Yeah, so
wedding
as well with if you suffer with anxiety or depression, sad syndrome, when you go on the sunbed, the UV light actually stimulates serotonin in the brain, which is our feel-good factor, so it makes us feel better. And yeah, so precisely that. So a wedding, so special occasion, so it could be, you know, it's not pre-holiday now because people aren't having a holiday, but
not pre-wedding.
Well,
we're 6.
Yeah, well, I know it's a nightmare now, isn't it? But yeah, so special occasion, I would have said weddings, proms, what have you. Some people tan because they have, you know, a skin disorder. They might be suffering with, you know, acne or psoriasis
as well,
eczema, that sort of thing, which, you know, people do say that the sunbeds do alleviate those problems and help those problems.
Sunbeds help my psoriasis.
and arthritis as well. Arthritis, very good. Yeah.
We are not allowed to claim health benefits.
No.
We're not allowed to claim that the sunbed, you know, is, you know, helps with health problems, but a lot of people do use them because they know that they, you know, they make
personal preference, isn't it?
Personal, So, but you know, you can all see what I'm saying. The same as vitamin D. We get vitamin D from sunbeds. We get vitamin D from sunlight. It's the same UV spectrum in a sunbed as it is in natural sunlight. So vitamin D is the core of our immune system. So, you know, we need vitamin D to keep us healthy. We only store vitamin D that we actually make in our own body, and that is through UV exposure. You can take vitamin D supplements, but the body only uses what it needs for that day and expels the rest. It doesn't store vitamin D. It only stores what it makes. Does that make sense? So so find out the reason that they're using the sunbeds, and the easiest way is to ask questions. So the easiest way to ask questions, or to find out what they're doing, obviously, is to ask questions. But also we need to know
what have I done?
what lotion they're using. I'll get there in a minute, sorry. I'm way behind. So I ask people, what lotion are you using today? And there's reasons why I ask that. You know, if they are using a lotion, fantastic. It also gives you a chance to see what they are using. That will help you to upgrade them in the future. Or you could add another item, so it helps with an add-on sale. So if they're already using a lotion, I would always ask, well, what are you using on your face? You know, are your legs tanning well? What are you using on your legs? What are you using at home? So it helps you to find out a little bit more about their skincare regime and their routine when they're on the bed and what they're using in other circumstances. The reason I've asked about, what are you using on your face? And I actually have this sort of on display as well next to my face products. I have this on the shelf so that people realise that they should actually be using something on their face. And it should be something specific for the face. So something like the smooth faces or the crystal faces, or even the face mate, which will help to tan. But also that they should be cleaning their face as well. So if they've got any makeup on, we always recommend that they remove their makeup before they go on the sunbed, because if they go on the bed with makeup on, that could actually block the pores and cause impurities, and it could cause them to break out. But also if it has an SPF in there, it will block the rays, so they're not going to tan as well. They might want that, they might be doing that deliberately, but for those customers who want to tan their face, if they've got makeup on, that is going to be putting a barrier on their face. So it's always best to cleanse the face. So we always have the face mates for doing that. But it also just, reminds people that they should be using a separate product on their face, because the lotions that we use are actually designed specifically for the body. You're not supposed to use the body lotions on the face because they can be too heavy and too thick, but also they could they could cause problems because they're highly fragranced, a lot of the lotions. And fragrance or perfume, if the customer has sensitive skin, they would usually have skin sensitivity on the facial area to something like perfume. So we don't recommend the body lotions are used on the face.
I always used to put my sunbed cream on my face, and I used to find that I used to come up in tiny little white, like pimple type of spots, but under the skin ones.
Right.
And when I stopped doing that, they went away.
Yeah.
Do you think that's why?
Yeah, for definite, because they probably would have been blocking the pores. The lotion is a little bit too thick and heavy. The facial products are designed specifically for the sensitive area of the face and the décolleté, so they're a lot thinner, and they don't, the actual sort of makeup of the lotion is a lot thinner, so it's absorbed easier, but it's not as heavy, and it's a lot of them are oil free as well, so they're not going to be causing any problems or causing you to to come out in spots or that type of thing. So by asking if they're using a lotion, and I always ask what lotion are you using today, if they're not using a lotion, I then ask the question, why not? Because if they're not using a lotion, that gives you the opportunity to explain to them why they should be using a lotion and the features and benefits of using a lotion, what it does, and why it's good for them, and how it's going to affect their tan. So that's a really important question, and always the first question that I ask once I've, you know, obviously gone through the tanning questionnaire with the customer, you know, if it's their first time, but I would always ask them what lotion they're using. Also, if it's a first time tanner, you've already implanted into their brain that they should be using a lotion. So it's an easy way for you to then explain what they are, how they work, and why they should use them going forward. You can drip feed information. You don't have to blast them with loads and loads and loads of scientific information that's going to blow them away, but just give them the basics of what a lotion does and, you know, why they should use it. So healthy, you know, healthy skin tans better. You're going to keep your tan for longer. Dry skin reflects light, so we always advise you use a lotion, that sort of thing. You know, the benefits of, they'll keep their tan for longer, so they won't have to tan for as long. It's been proven that by using a lotion, you can actually increase your tanning results by up to 60%. So that means that you could actually reduce the number of minutes that you go on the bed for. So for myself, as an example, if I would usually do 6 minutes on a sunbed, if I use a lotion, I'm getting the equivalent of a 12-minute tan. Whereas if you don't use a lotion and you tan what I call dry, you actually lose the first 3 minutes, or the equivalent of 3 minutes of that tanning session. So if I'm paying for a 6-minute sunbed and I'm not using a lotion, I'm actually only getting the equivalent of a 3-minute tan. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, is that helpful?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So by asking what lotion they're using, you can ascertain if they are or they're not using a lotion. If they are, make sure that it's the right lotion for the beds and for them. Ask them what they're using on their face, what they're using in between sessions. It opens up a whole sort of heap of information just by asking that one question. The next question that I would always ask would be, how dark do you want to be? And the reason I ask that is because not everybody wants to be dark. So if they turn around and they say, yeah, I want to be, you know, as dark as I can possibly be now, then bearing in mind that the tanning is a 2-day process, if you're putting them on the bed with a standard intensifier, are they going to be as dark as they want to be now? Are they going to see immediate results?
No.
No, they're not. So if they want to be dark now, I know that I would recommend to them something with a bronzing agent in, or bronzing technology, to give them a colour immediately on the skin, so they don't have to wait for those 2 days for their natural tan to develop. If, however, they turn around and they say, oh no, I don't want to be dark, I just want to build my tan naturally, gradually, then you wouldn't give them something like Deviously Black, which is up here, because that one is a combination bronzer, but it has a very dark immediate bronzer in there. I don't know if you can see that. It's dark in colour, so when I put that on the skin, it's almost like a bronzing powder within the lotion. So when you put it on the skin, you see that colour instantly, because it's like a cosmetic bronzer that is in the lotion. So immediately you're putting that on the skin, you're seeing that colour. So if a customer wants dark now, that's fantastic, because they can see that colour immediately. They get that instant gratification. But if you've got a customer who doesn't, you don't want to be giving them something like Deviously Black that will give that colour straight away.
Yeah,
so
we offer the hemp. The hemp's a good one for a first
yeah.
The hemp's brilliant. That's what we normally say to the first, you know, if they're coming down and they don't want an instant tan, it's use that one because it's a nice product.
Yeah, so it gives, you know, it allows them to build their tan gradually, but it's not in your face dark
Intense,
straight
yeah.
away. But it does keep the skin hydrated and helps them to build their tan, you know, naturally, which is obviously what they've said to you that they want. But if you hadn't asked that question and Deviously Black was your favourite product, and this might be the one that you recommend to everybody because it works for you and you love it, it's not a one bottle fits all.
No.
So make sure that you are building that relationship with the customer, asking the right questions so that you can tell them which products you recommend best for them. The third question that I always ask is, how quickly do you want to see results? And like I've said, same thing. If they want to build their tan gradually, I always explain to customers it's a 2-day process. So you're going to go on the bed today, and it's not going to be until Friday until you actually see your full colour potential from today's session. So if you want to see colour quicker, I would recommend that you use something that gives you an immediate colour on the skin. But if they don't, then I would go with a standard intensifier, something like my Sunseeker,
Yeah.
which is just a standard intensifier with no bronzing agents. It's got a lot of vitamins and nutrients. It's a fantastic quality product, but there's no colour to it. It's, you know, it's white or clear when you put it on, so it's white in the hand, but then when you put it on the skin, I tell you, I'm smelling lovely right now. It's very hydrating, goes on really nicely, absorbs very quickly into the skin. It doesn't leave a sticky or tacky residue. It doesn't lather up or mat the, you know, if you've got hairy arms or hairy legs, it doesn't mat up on the skin, which is great for men. Smells absolutely fantastic, but there's no colour there. There's no immediate colour, but it will give me really, really good tan results. So
and you
those
can
are
use
the questions.
Can you use those like as a daily moisturizer, like you said before, all of those
in between tanning sessions for definite? Yeah, because it's got the nutrients and the essential oils, all the vitamins, all the goodies. It actually helps to keep the skin healthy. It feeds it, it repairs it, it replenishes it. It helps with skincare rejuvenation. So it's loaded with antioxidants, which help to reduce fine lines and wrinkles, age spots, skin pigmentation. It also helps with that. If it contains caffeine, then it will help with toning and firming. If it contains collagen, it helps to boost, if it contains vitamin E, it helps to boost collagen production and elasticity in the skin.
Sorry, can I ask a question real quick? Do you mind?
Yeah, of course you can. Is
there much of a difference in terms of the accelerators that are specifically derived towards men?
They are a slightly different composition in that our actual G-Gent products are a coconut water base. So they're very, very hydrating. They're full of electrolytes, so they actually help to condition the skin, but they're absorbed just like water. A lot of the other lotions that we have are designed, I won't say specifically for women, but they are catered more for ladies than they are for men, in the fact that ladies like really nice, rich sort of formulas, so that they actually, you can feel the richness when you put it on the skin. Whereas for men don't tend to like that. They like it to be absorbed quickly, dry very quickly on the skin.
Makes sense.
Definitely leave no sticky residue. So our G-Gent range is almost like a sport formula in how it dries on the skin and is absorbed immediately. But it doesn't, although it gives all the actual richness, it isn't rich feeling, if you know what I mean. So with a lady, we like it to be lavish and luxurious and, really sort of creamy and stuff like that on the skin. That for us, that's fantastic. But for men, it's a different sort of formulation. It's still got all the goodies in there, but it doesn't, it doesn't lather up or anything on the skin. So big difference.
Because we sell out really quickly of like the jelly with hemp. That's the top seller for us.
Yeah,
Rapid we sell out of really, really quickly. And we sell those products to a lot of men, and nobody really asks for anything that's specifically derived towards men.
Well, so, the two that you've just mentioned, the jelly with hemp specifically, that is a combination lotion. So it feels like a lotion. It has the tanning properties of an oil, but it dries like a gel. So that again, it's absorbed really, really quickly into the skin. It's fantastic for men because it doesn't lather up or leave that sticky residue.
Yes, that's huge. What's the difference between the jelly with hemp and the rapid?
And the rapid, yeah. So the jelly, I haven't got the jelly in here. I've got the rapid in here. But the jelly with hemp, basically it's similar to the accelerator, but the accelerator is a standard lotion. But the jelly, like I say, is a combination. So it's a mix between a gel, an oil, and the lotion. The rapid tanning is very similar. It's got but it's got a lot more ingredients, so it will give you twice the power, so twice the tanning power of the jelly.
So technically speaking, the rapid's probably a better product if you're someone that's looking to get as brown as possible.
Yeah, out of the two, the rapid tanning would definitely give the better results in a much shorter time. So the customer wouldn't need to go on the bed for as long or as often. So I'll give you an example, right? So I'm just going to take my three accelerators from different ranges. So our rapid tanning is very similar in ingredients to our sun seeker, so they're sort of in the same sort of range, if you like. Although rapid tanning is in the twist bottle, which is the same as the accelerator, this was actually originally designed to be used in our outdoor collection rather than our indoor collection. But the ingredients are twice as many as you'd get in the accelerator. So if you were to take these three products, the tan that you would achieve, say in one session with the hot, would take you sort of 2 to 3 sessions to achieve the same results with the rapid tanning or with the sun seeker. But it might take you 4 to 6 sessions with the accelerator or the jelly with hemp to achieve the same level of tan as you'd get in one session with the hot or 2 to 3 sessions with the rapid tanning.
That's great knowledge. And what about another thing that our clients love is the exotic oil spray. So basically, how we categorize it in our store, you can correct me if I'm wrong. So we have cream-based products that are great for like dry skin. So that'd be, for example, a jelly with hemp. And then we have an oil-based product like the tanning oil spray. That's for someone that's a little bit more advanced, that is looking to go as dark as possible. And would I be right in saying that you wouldn't recommend an oil spray to someone that is kind of new to tanning?
Yeah. Also, depending on your flooring and depending on your sun, if they're going on the lay down beds, the oils can be a lot more difficult to clean off of the acrylics than the standard lotions. So the oils, realistically, especially something like the exotic oil or the dry oil, they are actually intended for use outdoors and not for indoor tanning. If they are using them for indoor tanning, then I would either tend to possibly reduce their minutes, because they are more likely to to tan sort of quicker with those. But if they're overexposing, then there is that risk that they could burn. But also, like I say, for cleaning the acrylics for one, or if they're spraying, the spray tends to get everywhere. I don't know how people manage to get the spray on the ceiling and on the mirrors, but they do, all over the walls, on the floor. So I'd just be a little bit careful, especially if you've got laminate flooring or tiles where it could be slippery. So just do a risk assessment on that and make sure that that you haven't got a slip or slip hazard really if they're using an oil-based product.
We're pretty hot on cleanliness. So what we do is we keep a mop outside the door, and then like our staff, especially with COVID, etc., they're in there at the end of the session, checking the floor. But yeah, you're 100% right. It does literally go everywhere. But
I don't know how they get it on the ceiling, but they do.
Yeah, it's like they're having a party and they're like doing shots and like throwing it around the ceiling. I don't know how to get it, but no, I appreciate your help, Julie. Thank you.
No problem at all. That's why I'm here. So I need you to identify the needs, which we've done by asking questions, and then next is to actually recommend what products you would recommend to the customer. So depending on their skin types, what their needs are, what are they hoping to achieve, you can then choose the specific lotion that you think benefits them the best. So you do that by explaining the features, what the lotion actually is, what the features are, and what the benefit is to that customer. So we might have products, for example, something like the party animal, which is absolutely fantastic. I love this product. But this contains the tattoo technology. So, it's an added feature, but it would only be a benefit to somebody who has tattoos. I don't have tattoos. So if I was coming into your salon and you were choosing party animal for me, which would be fantastic because I love this product and I do use this when I go away on holiday. I love everything about it. But if you were to sell this to me based purely on the fact that it had tattoo technology, that is of no interest to me whatsoever because I don't have a tattoo. So I would be more interested in the fact of the ingredients and, the Perfection Primer, the fact that, it actually helps to give a nice even skin tones, even coverage. It's a fantastic lotion. It smells nice. It's got all the antioxidant properties. It's got anti-aging. I'm into that. I love that. I love all the skincare. I also love how it smells. The wild berries and lavender goes really well. If you do stock the party animal, just a little tip, it's the same fragrance as our wild berries and lavender Hemp Nation tan extender. So the two bundle really, really nicely if you want to do like a package, your tanning and your aftercare. It's the same fragrance. If they like the fragrance of the party animal, they'll love the tan extender. Vice versa, if you keep the tan extender on the counter and they've tried it and they like that, party animal is a fantastic lotion to recommend that they use on the bed because it has the same fragrance. But you could bundle the two and sell them as a package. Go really, really nicely together. But like I say, you choose the feature. The benefit is, it has to be relevant to the person that you're selling to or that you're talking to. So if you've got a younger client, are they really going to be that interested in the fact that it's got anti-aging properties? Probably not. But if you tell them that it's got the caffeine for, toning and firming, that might be of interest to them. If you tell them that it's really good for elasticity or for brightening the skin, if it contains vitamin C, it's a really good brightening agent, they might be interested in that. So find a feature, sell the benefit, but it has to meet the customer's needs. Establishing value. You can do this by cost per session. So the cost per session helps to break down the equivalent price of the sachet So you would take the bottle size. So for example, this one's 300 mils. The sachet size is 15 mil. So you're going to get the equivalent of 20 sachets in one bottle. So that's 20 tans. So you take the cost of the bottle, the retail price. So this is £29. Excuse me. Divide it by the 20 tans, so that gives you the cost of £1.45 cost per session or cost per tan, as opposed to £4 for the sachet price. So for the customer, it would be more beneficial because they're saving money by using the bottle. But for yourself, if you sell a bottle, for the customer it's better because they're getting better value, but also but for you, if they've got a bottle, then that's commitment. So, you know, rather than a single use sachet, the sachet is a one-time use. They can come in, they can buy that, they can disappear, they can tan wherever. If they're buying a bottle, that is a commitment to tanning. So, you know, they are going to use this, but a bottle can't be measured. So, you know, when you pour it into your hand, you don't know if you've got 20 mil in there, 15 mil in there, 10 mil in there. You just use the amount that you're going to use on your body at the time that you pour it into your hand. Some people, you know, apply 2 or 3. I know I do. So they could be using this quicker than they would be just having single-use sessions. But it is a good way of establishing value for the customer that, you know, if they buy a bottle, 1, it's a commitment to tanning, but 2, they're going to be saving money, a lot of money. And when you actually tell them, you know, how much they're saving, you know, it's the equivalent, I put it down here, the equivalent sachets, if you were to have 20 sachets, that's £80 they would have sold instead of 29. So that's a saving of £51 if they were to continually use the same sachets every time they came in. Also for yourself, money in the till, you know, you would have to sell the equivalent of 7 sachets to make the same money in the till as 1 bottle. And that works out pretty much the same with the majority of the Australian Gold products. But imagine if you sold 7 bottles instead of 7 sachets, how your till would look at the end of the day. Now, I know other people would argue and say, yes, but I'm making more money if I sell a sachet. You are, but you still have to put the same emphasis and, you know, the equivalent sort of sales techniques into selling, whether it be a bottle or a sachet. Personally, I prefer to sell a bottle. But also, you know, if you've got this in the customer's hand, once they've used a product, they're more inclined to continue using it. The sachets we regard as samples, and you can actually use a sampling program if you want that. You know, if they buy a sachet, you would then refund the price of that sachet if they bought the equivalent bottle. So the sachet ends up being a sample, but you at least you've got them to try and use a product, and that's the most important thing. We want to get people to buy products or to use products as opposed to tanning dry, because they'll get better results, they'll keep their tan for longer, their skin will be healthier, they won't need to tan as often, and they won't need to tan as long. So all in all, they're getting, you know, better tans for you know, less exposure, which is what it's about really. But you'll still be maximizing the amount of money in the till. So we've spoken briefly about bronzing technology. I said earlier, if a customer says how dark, you know, they want to be dark now. So we've got different types of bronzing. You've got your immediate bronzers. So they're the ones that give you that instant color to the skin. And in our new catalogue, we've actually broken down, you'll see, we've got a fold out section at the back of the catalogue that has actually broken all of the products down into their bronzing technologies. So whether they're an immediate bronzer, if they're just a tan activated or just a delayed, or whether they're a combination. So it's really, really helpful for you to know which products you can provide for your customers. We've also put the cost per session in there as well, so it's an easy sales tool for you. If it's an immediate bronzer, it is just that. It gives you instant colour on the skin. It's like a cosmetic, bronzing powder within the lotion. It does wash off. It's temporary. It lasts 1 to 2 days on the skin whilst your natural tan is developing, but it does wash off. So just be aware of that. The tan activated ingredients actually help with boosting your natural melanin production. So they will give you, I actually call them a colour booster, because that's exactly what they do. They boost your natural colour without adding anything onto the skin. So there's no cosmetic bronzer. They are clear in colour, and they're non-staining. So they're not like a delayed bronzer, which is the next type of product. So immediate and tan activated, you don't have to wash your hands after application. We recommend you always apply in a circular motion. That gives you the best results. It also helps with microcirculation. So when you're applying the lotion, by rubbing your skin in a circular motion, you're enabling the pores to open for the lotion to be deeper penetrated. It will get to where it needs to go a lot quicker. So it will start working quicker and bring that melanin to the skin a lot quicker, ready to be exposed to the UVA and the UVB of the sunbed tube. So it starts to work immediately, but you don't have to wash your hands after use. With a delayed bronzer, that does actually contain an ingredient called DHA, which is similar to, well, it's the same ingredient, but in a different quantity to what we use in our self-tan products. So it's called a delayed bronzer because it continues to work after your tanning session. So if you tan in the morning, in the afternoon, you'll see your tan is developing and it will continue to get darker and darker, but you'll also keep that tan for a lot longer. And it does that because it actually, it stains the melanin. So it actually gives you a deeper color. So it's a sort of tanning through the layers, but gives you it stains, if you like, the top layer. But you'll keep that tan for a lot longer. So 5 to 7 days is what we would recommend, or what we suggest, that, you know, that's how long it lasts. Some people will last longer, some people not as long, especially if they're exfoliating. If they're waxing or shaving their legs, obviously the tan on their legs isn't going to last as long if they're waxing and shaving, because they're exfoliating or removing that top layer of skin. But with a delayed bronzer, you do have to wash your hands, because the DHA reacts with the protein in the skin and it can actually turn it brown. So we always recommend wash your hands as soon as you've had your sunbed session. So they can apply the lotion, have their tan, and then wash or wipe their hands after use. It doesn't mean they can put the lotion on, then they have to wash or wipe their hands before they go on the sunbed. As long as it's within, I always say within an hour of going on the bed, then you're absolutely fine. Also, the amount of DHA that we use is a minuscule amount. It's just there to help prolong the tan and give a deeper result. So, you know, they're not going to come out looking tangoed. They're not going to come out being, you know, very, very dark very, very quickly. It is it's a delayed process. It continues to develop, but they do need to wash their hands. And if they have got any really dry areas, which they shouldn't have if they're using the lotion in the first place, but if they were, if they did have any extremely dry areas, then that could grab the color a little bit more. So I would recommend that, they keep hydrated in between tanning sessions, keep moisturized, use the tan extenders. I wouldn't offer something with a high DHA content or a heavy delayed bronzer as an everyday use. As I said earlier, something like the Deviously Black I would probably shy away from as an everyday product. But you know, if they were using say the rapid tanning or one of the natural bronzers, something like our naturally dark or our charmingly black, something like that, they could quite happily use that every day in between lotion, in between tanning sessions as their moisturizing lotion. It would work just as well. The Dermadark is exclusive to Australian Gold. That is a secret blend of ingredients that basically that enhances your natural color, but you don't have to expose it to UV light for it to work. Unlike the other three, they need to be exposed to UV for the color to develop, whereas the Dermadark will work with or without UV light. So something like the Deviously Black does actually have every type of bronzing technology. So it gives you your instant color. It has the tan activating melanin boosters. It also contains a small percentage, I think it's about 0.1% of the DHA and the Dermadark. So it will give you a really, really good colour very, very quickly, but it will continue to work after your tanning session and you will keep your colour for much longer. That's why Deviously Black is one of our top selling products, without doubt. Going back to cost per session very briefly, cost per session is a great way of being able to upgrade a customer. So if you've got someone who has been using the accelerator and you want to upgrade them to a bronzer, so they've built their base tan with the accelerator and they're looking for better results. So it's an easy upgrade. It's an easy way to upgrade somebody by using the cost per session. So for not a lot more money, you can give them better results. So for example, from the accelerator to the Sinfully Black, you can upgrade from 85 pence a session to £1.20, but you will get much better results. Obviously that is the equivalent of another £5.50 in the till. So again, it's a win-win situation. But once the customer has tried a product with a bronzer in there as opposed to a standard accelerator, and they see those immediate results, they are more likely going to go on to better and bigger bronzers, which in itself is more money, because the raw ingredients that we use for the bronzing technology are the top quality. They're always the highest quality, so they are more expensive.
Can I ask a question?
Of course
if
you
that's
can.
Okay. So I heard you say earlier about the gentleman, the coconut water, was it?
Yes.
So if a lady doesn't want a heavy, rich, smooth cream, could she use that one, or is that just for men, or do you do something that's a bit lighter?
For definitely, I mean, I actually like the G-Gent products. They are heavily perfumed. I say perfumed. They do smell just like a cologne, or a man's cologne or an aftershave. For some ladies, I myself, I really like the fragrance of it. But it is a very lightweight, almost like a gel. I don't know. It's very difficult for me to really show you, but it's, if I do that, you can see it's quite watery. It's disappeared. I've literally just spread it across my fingers. Can you see that?
Yeah. See, if I use like a cream, I tend to get spots on my chest and my back, and I'm not sure if it's just too rich for me. So I was just thinking, I wonder if you can use the gentleman's one, or if there is a coconut, a watered one that you do.
I mean, we do put coconut water in a lot of the products anyway, but this one is specifically coconut water based.
Yeah,
I would I could recommend it. I mean, I can always send you a sachet for you to try.
Yes,
and
please.
see how you get on with it, because
Yeah.
I mean, I personally love the Gents products because I mean, it's absorbed just like water. It feels just like water. And there's nothing. I've put that on and it's gone, completely gone. But it's still very.
Need to try them, don't you, yourself? Like,
and
for me, to believe in that product, you've got to feel it yourself, haven't you? Really, and know what.
Yeah, for definite. I mean, if you're using the product, that is the easiest way to recommend a product. Because if you've used it and you like it and you've seen the results and you like how it smells and you like how it feels, but more importantly, you've seen the results, which I've already said, then it's a lot easier to recommend that product than something that you haven't used. Now, having said that, there are products that I personally haven't used, but I talk to people who do use them to find out, you know, what is it that you like about that product? You know, why do you use that product as opposed to that product? What is it that, you know, that attracts you to that? So, you know, for some it would be smell, for some it's packaging, for some it's because, you know, they want to be really, really dark now. I don't. I'm one, it takes me forever to build a base tan. Once I've built a base tan, I can keep it. And by using the lotions, I only need tan, you know, very infrequently, because my tan does come back up very well. And I do keep a tan all year round, although I don't tan all the time. But there are, you know, there are products that I use. For example, the Superior DHA is the one that's actually being discontinued, but it's one that I use when I go on the bed, because for me it gives me the best colour in the shortest time, and it's super hydrating, it's super rich, and I absolutely love it, but it's very, very dark. But when I go on holiday, I use the Party Animal, and I also use the Idol. The Idol is my absolute favourite product of all time. There isn't anything that I don't like about this product. I absolutely love it. So I tend to mix these two. I'll do one session with the Party Animal, and then the next session I'll use the Idol, because they've got different ingredients in, they've got different tanning technology, so my skin gets the best of both products, but one's a bronzer and one isn't. So that's what I like about them, that, you know, I use the intensifier, but there's no bronzing agent, but the Idol is a Dermadark bronzer, which I absolutely love. So I tend to use a couple of products when I go on the beds. You know, I'll do one session with one, which is more expensive. The Idol's more expensive than the Party Animal, so I tend to use the Party Animal more than I use the Idol, because I try and eke both of them out and get the best out of both of them, if that makes sense. That's what I tend to do. So yeah, but if you're using the products, it's a lot easier for you to actually recommend those. But if you're not using a product, ask the customers, you know, especially if you've got a customer that you're trying to sell to, and you've got another customer in the salon already who uses a lotion, ask them to tell the new customer why they use a lotion and what benefits they've seen from using that and how that enhances their tan, because that's then not coming from you, that's coming from another customer, and the proof is in the pudding. You know, you've got to prove it. You know, you're telling somebody, oh, this is fantastic because, but prove it. And the best way of proving it is to get other customers to sell it for you, in my honest opinion. So very quickly, because we're at the end now, we're nearly there. 10 ways to lose a sale. If you've got poor appearance, if you're nervous, Lack of enthusiasm. If you're not interested in the customer, then it's going to come across. You know, if you can't be bothered, then why should they be bothered? You know, so make sure that you're enthusiastic about the products. Use the products yourself. Talk about the products. Tell them what you like about it. Failure to identify the customer's needs. If you're not asking the questions, you don't know A, why they're tanning, or B, you know, what their specific reasons are. What's their needs? What's their goals? What are they trying to achieve? If you find that out, you can easily recommend a product that suits them. So if they say, oh, I can't use a lotion because I've got sensitive skin, or, you know, my doctor has suggested that UV light is good for my psoriasis, so I've come to use the sunbed, but I don't want to use a lotion because I don't want it to flare up. We do have specific products for specific skin types and different skin conditions. So if you've got someone who has extremely dry skin, you want to add oil and hydration. If you've got somebody who has got oily skin, you don't want to add oil. You want to have an oil absorbing formula. So, you know, we've got Soulstruck, for example, which is an oil absorbing formula for people specifically who suffer with acne, or, you know, have breakouts or have excessive oily skin. Then Soulstruck is amazing. You know, you might have, this is becoming more and more popular now. You know, you might have people come in who are vegan. We have vegan specific products, you know, designed specifically, registered for vegans. You know, none of our products are tested on animals. None of them have animal derivatives. They are, you know, we're on the PETA list, the PETA list for our products. We are registered. None of the products or the ingredients have ever been tested on animals. We're against animal cruelty. We're eco-friendly wherever possible. All the packaging is recyclable. But, you know, we do have specific products. Things like the Shea You Love Me. If you suffer with eczema or psoriasis, the Shea You Love Me is designed specifically for that skin type. So if a customer tries to use an excuse that they can't use a lotion because, find out, you know, what's their reason, because I'm 100% sure that we will have a product that is suitable for them to use, that will help to condition their skin and give them better tan results. It's always better to use a lotion than it is to tan dry, in my opinion. But don't ignore objections. If a customer tells you, you know, I can't use a lotion because I have I have sensitive skin, don't ignore that and say, I hear what you're saying. You know, I also have sensitive skin, but what is your specific skin sensitivity? You know, is it that they have an allergy to nuts? Is it that they have, you know, a problem with perfume? Is it that they have psoriasis? Is it that they have, you know, I don't know. There's lots of different things. Hyperpigmentation. Find out what it is that they are, you know, wary of, or why they think that they can't use a lotion, so that you can help them. If they know that you're looking out for their best interest and you're not just trying to sell them something, then that helps with that rapport. They trust you. Once a customer trusts you, they'll listen to what you have to say. And if you're recommending a product specifically for them, they're going to be appreciative of that. So, you know, it's not a one size fits all. Find out what it is that they need, what their goals are, what their objections are, and then you can find the product that suits them. Does that make sense?
Mm.
Yeah. Has that been helpful?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very.
The other thing as well, the top reason why your customers don't buy lotions is because they don't actually know about them. You know, they haven't been told. And that when I do customer surveys, and I've done a lot of customer surveys over the years, and I ask a customer, you know, why aren't you using a lotion, or why don't you use a lotion? Lotion? What's that? Don't know about it. Didn't know I had to. And that's a failure on your part, because you're not actually telling the people that they need to use a lotion when they go on the sunbed. Don't think of yourself as a pushy salesperson. Think of yourself as a customer advisor. You're a customer service advisor. You are there to help them get the best results in the shortest time possible. And the only way you can do that is by giving them the correct information and telling them, you know, we would recommend that you use a lotion because. Not everybody's going to go for it. You know, you will have people say, no, you're all right, I don't have time, or yeah, I don't like how it smells, or I used one once before and I didn't like it. You will get objections. Don't let it put you off. It's only a no for today. It's not necessarily a no for next week. They might be saying no because they don't have any spare cash in their pocket, or they haven't budgeted for a lotion. But if you're not telling them about the products and why they would be better to use it, they can't make that informed decision. So, you know, make sure that you're giving them the information. You don't want to be pushy, but give them the information so that they can make their own mind up. But if you fail to give them that information, they've got nothing to go on. They don't know. I personally would be really miffed if I went into a salon and I could be saving myself money by spending a bit of money and investing in a lotion, but I could essentially be saving, you know, the number of times I have to come in and use the park and ride, or pay £8 to pay in the car park all day because it's an all day session. I can't pay by the hour. You know, if I've spent £8 to come into town, and I'm doing that every other day to come and have my sunbed because no one's told me I could actually use a lotion and only have to come into the salon twice a week instead of every other day, then that to me is saving me money all round and a lot of time, just because I could use a lotion but no one's told me. Does that make sense? So don't feel that you're being pushy by telling somebody about a lotion. Share, don't sell. People don't like people who are pushy, but they do like to have information so they can make their own mind up. And last but not least, failure to ask. If you don't ask them, they're not going to ask you. If someone was to come in and they were to see a barrage of all these lotions on the shelf behind you, as you know, you're behind the counter, they're behind you, how many of your customers actually come in and ask you what they are? I bet very, very few, because they don't want to appear to be silly, that they don't know what these products are, or they might be nervous about starting a conversation. So make sure that you ask the customer and tell them what the products are behind you. I know, you know, in our busy season, we have a lot of footfall and we have a lot of people coming through, and we just want to process that person and get them on the bed as quickly as possible. But don't forget, they are paying you money for a service, and each person should be treated as a VIP. Don't get complacent either. So if you've got a customer who always, you know, they're a regular customer, they always buy lotions, if you're getting new products in, don't forget to tell them about them, because just because they know what a lotion is doesn't mean to say that they know what every single lotion does behind me. So if you've got a new product specifically and you've got Jane coming in, and Jane's a regular customer, comes in every week for her, you know, her 6-minute tan or her 9-minute tan, and she always uses a lotion, make her feel special and say, oh, Jane, I've got a brand new lotion. You're going to love it. You know, I've got it in just for you, because you've been using that lotion for a while. You know, you might have stopped seeing the results, or you might have, you know, you might be bored with that one. Try this one, because I had you in mind when I bought this in. You know, make them feel special, but make sure you tell them about new lotions. Don't get complacent just because they're always coming in. Don't forget about them. But if you've got any other questions, then fire away now before the session ends, or you can.
Do you have all your products? Do you have like I don't know what they're called, like a sheet that tells you the benefits and that you can send out to me or anything?
Our catalogue. Our catalogue has all the features and benefits with the cost per session, what the product is, so if it's an intensifier, if it's an immediate bronzer, a delayed bronzer, it has all of that. I haven't got a catalogue to hand, but at the back it's got an actual fold out section as well that you could actually take out of the catalogue, which has got all of the products, so all Australian Gold, Swedish Beauty, Designer Skin, JWoww, the whole kit and caboodle. It's all in sections, listed by product type with the retail price and the cost per session. But the features and the benefits are in the actual catalogue. But we also have separate sales fact sheets, which gives you the feature and benefit of each product. So if there's a range of products that you're stocking and you want the sales fact sheets, then speak to your account manager when you phone the office, and ask them if they can email them through to you.
Oh, thank you.
All right.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Does your body get used to the cream after a while that you'll need to change it to something else?
Yes. Yeah. It's the same as anything. Your body builds up an immune system, and it's actually tingles that have taught us this. I don't know how many of you stock tingles, but a tingle is like Marmite. You either love it or hate it. It's one of those things that there's no in between. But tingles have taught us that the skin becomes acclimatized or accustomed to a tingle on the skin. So it stops working, you stop seeing it and you stop feeling it. So similarly, what's happening with a tingle is going to happen with a bog standard lotion. So if you're constantly using the same lotion, your body is going to get to the point where it's not working. So if you've got customers who are forever and a day just using Accelerator, and this is the only lotion that they've ever used and only ever will use, it won't be working for them anymore. It's the same as when you go to the gym. You know, you start by building up slowly. Like say you're on the exercise bike, and you know, you start off and you're doing 5 minutes on the exercise bike, and to start with it kills you. After a couple of weeks of doing 5 minutes on the exercise bike, it's a breeze. You're not doing it anymore. You have to either do more or you have to put distance up. It's exactly the same thing. Your body, your skin will get used to the ingredients, it will get used to the lotion, it will only produce, you know, so much of a tan with that product. So that's why when I said earlier that I use my 2 products, I do that so that my body doesn't just get used to me using, well, it's actually the Party Animal that I use. So if I was just using Party Animal all the time, session after session after session after session, it would get to a point where I'm not getting any darker and I'm not seeing benefits. This would have stopped working. So that's why I do, you know, 1 session
use alternate
in 2 sessions with Party Animal and go back and do my 1 session with my Idol. It helps me tweak both of them out, but my body's or my skin is getting the best results, and I'm getting a much better tan that I'm keeping for a lot longer.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So I hope that's been helpful to you all. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'm sorry we have gone slightly over time, but I've really